people who've attended multiple weddings for the same person, what differences did you notice between the two weddings?
My sister has been married 4 times. First wedding was right out of high school sweetheart deal, kind of an off-the-cuff event for two dumb teenagers, before her new husband went off to become a Navy SEAL. Second wedding several years later was a shotgun deal, hippie vibes, at a cabin in the woods, with my 6-month-old niece playing the part of her parents' flower girl. Third wedding was this massive, over-the-top lakeside country club shindig, like she was trying to prove a point. I barely remember it aside from being exhausted and astounded by the price tag. And the fourth wedding, I wouldn't know. They eloped and didn't invite anyone from our side of the family. Lol. I guess fourth time is the charm though, because they're still together. Thank God.
Wedding number 1. I was friends with both the bride and groom. The wedding was very fancy and elaborate. The ceremony was at the Venetian in Vegas. We spent several days there doing wedding festivities and activities with family and friends. I was in the bridal party. The bride's dress was a bejeweled ball gown, hair and makeup were done at the hotel spa, professional photographer booked for the day, the works. The reception and dinner were at a fancy Italian restaurant and we traveled there in a limo. They got annulled 3 months later. Wedding number 2, same groom, different bride. The ceremony and reception were at a community center. All of the decorations were homemade. The bride's dress was a simple strapless dress. She wore her hair back and no makeup. The food was catered by a local Chinese restaurant and we were encouraged to take home leftovers in a Ziploc baggie. They just celebrated their 15th anniversary.
My cousin's first wedding was a massive blowout at a fancy winery, with an open bar, fancy catering, tons of flowers, the works. He's a blue-collar worker and went into debt to pay for it because the bride and her family insisted, despite not being particularly wealthy themselves. Surprise, she always wanted to live outside their means, and didn't think she had to contribute financially. Lasted about 2 years. His second wedding was at his hometown church. A friend officiated the 20-minute ceremony, and bride and groom wore thrift outfits. His new wife's family cooked all the food for the reception in their backyard, and the two of them have been going strong for over 2 decades now.
I always really enjoy the smaller weddings, less spent on drapings and more invested into the experience. All you need is good food, good people, and love. Big weddings with that vibe are great too.
I can actually give context with my own wedding, lol. Years into my second, excellent, marriage, I was sorting through old photos. I wanted to make sure I had some photos from my first marriage for my kids, if they ever wanted them. I stumbled across the picture of my dad walking me down the aisle. The look on his face can only be described as death march unhappiness. I didn't learn till years later when I finally left my emotionally abusive ex that they disliked him from the start. Curious, I pulled out the wedding album from my second wedding, a beautiful, but chill backyard affair at our big country farm. The look on my dad's face while walking me down the aisle at that wedding is best described as woohoo. This is awesome. The things we only see in hindsight. Rolling on the floor laughing.
Thanks for watching. This is my first video. Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel.